Finding love and companionship can happen in the most unexpected ways. A chance meeting with a stranger, a friendship that blossoms, igniting an old flame. You never know how and when love will find you. That's true for Evelyn as she feels she's closing one chapter of her life, opening the book to find exciting new pages. Joining me is Laura Bird, director, and Janet Rich, assistant director of PTD's production of Welcome to Paradise. Welcome to the show, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's great to be here.
I'm so happy to have both of you. You're both PTT gems that I would love to talk to at any time. Can you tell me about this show, a brief synopsis, obviously without spoiling anything, because we want people to go see it?
Uh, well, your summary to start the segment is pretty solid. Uh, we have Amy Griffith playing Evelyn, a woman in her 70s who owns a delightful beach house in I guess, the fictional island of Saint Sebastian in the Caribbean. And as you said, she meets a stranger on the plane, and she's a little dizzy getting off the plane. So Rory, played by Chandler Gibson, uh, helps her home. He's in his mid-20s, and between the taxi heading off before they were ready and the rainstorm, it makes the most sense for Rory not to hike back to town, but to spend the night. Um, and well, one of my favorite lines in the play comes early. I shouldn't say that. I won't. Um, he comes early, or he stays, and they spend some time with each other, find each other's um, company delightful, and are finding a new relationship in paradise. But then Evelyn's family, more specifically her son Greg and his family, Greg is played by Scott Steck-Schulte, and who was in A Very Shakespeare Christmas with us. And his wife Trish is played by Wendy Ascioni-Juska, she's hasn't been in shows in a little while. I think the last thing she was in was Rumors, which I also played in. She has a 2-year-old, so the last couple of years she's been busy, and remains so. And their daughter, Sydney, played by Max Ray, who's a newcomer to PTD, and quite delightful to work with. And Greg is not comfortable with Rory and Evelyn's relationship, and the rest of the conflict and resolution revolves around that major problem.
Janet, did you want to add anything about the show, or you guys working as a tag team on the show, which is pretty exciting?
No, Laura has explained the show very, very well.
I need to explain something. Janet snuck in there and called herself an assistant director. I consider her my co-director. And it's been delightful to work with her. She has our strengths complement each other. Janet's excellent at helping actors develop characters more deeply and at playing. And I've learned from her, and we've played in the last week of rehearsals in ways I hadn't had the luxury or time to do. We um, we had people switch roles. We had people playing the roles as if they were 3 years old. We had them speaking their subtext, and the amount of depth that we got out of that was just so exciting. Really revved everybody up. And I don't think I would have done that without Janet's help.
It's interesting that you say that because when I was writing the script, I was like, okay, she's the assistant director, but in my mind, I was like thinking you guys were like sharing co-directing, like, because you're two powerhouses together, and what an amazing thing for the cast to have. And even these games you're talking about playing, I mean, what a way to make your character have so much depth and understand the play and your character so deeply, to be able to do those things, like be a 3-year old. How would your character do this? How would your character say this? I mean, that is a luxury that is not afforded every time you're in a show.
Hmm. Not every script stands up to that. A Very Shakespeare
Right.
Christmas was lovely, but it didn't ask that in-depth exploration of character. But I wouldn't know about this script without Janet. And I'm very grateful that she brought it to my attention.
Janet, how did you stumble across Welcome to Paradise?
Well, my twin sister went to uh, Purple Rose and saw the premiere. And she brought back the bill from it and said, "Here, look this over." And it was like, "Oh, this looks interesting." So I wrote and asked for a script, and they sent it to me. And so I read it, and immediately I cried, I laughed, it was better than cats. And so the first person I thought of for directing it would be Laura. So I asked her to read it, and she loved it as much as I did. So they got on to the season.
It's interesting. It's so current, but it's also something that we've heard about forever. These like May December romances, but like currently, Nicole Kidman's in a May December
Exactly.
like you're hearing more and more about this. I mean, Nicole Kidman is. I mean, like she doesn't look that much older than anyone ever, But like, it's interesting that this is something that we're hearing more and more about, and it's the female being the older person in the relationship and the male being the younger, where I think universally we've always thought of it the other way around.
And one of the things that the script explores is that there's different kinds of relationships, that all relationships can be soul binding, but not sexual.
Hmm.
So it explores all the different kinds of relationships there are. And in the exploration of that, the characters inside the play also start thinking about their own relationships and how that came about and what they're going to do with it. So it just keeps going and going and going.
It's also interesting to think about, because I have kids, and so when you talk to kids, they'll be like, "Oh, isn't it weird that like this person's friends, they're like 10 and they're friends with like a 30-year-old or something?" And I'm like, "Well, when you get older, your friends can be any age. I mean, I have friends that are in their 70s. Like you can be friends with anyone." And so I feel like when you're young, this world is so locked in and small to you, like, "Oh, my friends are 8. I'm 8, so my friends are 8." But then
Mhm.
as you get older, you're like, man, I really connect with this person and they're 75 years old, and that's the beauty of life. And like, that's kind of what I feel like the story's saying. Like,
Mhm. Yes, very much so.
can you talk about when the show is, tickets, all that information?
So we open May 8th. We play May 8th through 11th and 14 through 17. Our usual pattern of opening on a Thursday, and we have two Thursday performances a week apart. Those are pay what you can. PTD's commitment to bringing theater, quality theater to Ypsilanti, is reiterated every time we have a Thursday pay what you can performance. There's a Sunday matinee on the 11th, and then that starts at 2, and a Wednesday matinee also at 2 on the 14th. Our other performances are evening performances, and this is our second season of switching to a 7:30 performance time, which seems to be making actors, directors, and audience members very happy for that extra half hour of sleep. Um, yeah, anyway. So please note the new time. And all at the Riverside Arts Center at 76 North Huron Street. Check out our website, PTD Productions. .com for how to get tickets. There's a link right there. It's easy peasy. And we recommend you get them online.
But I mean, there's potential you could get them at the door too the day
Oh,
of.
yes, you can. You can. Yes.
Can you talk about the set? I mean, we're in the Caribbean, right?
Yeah. Uh, yes, I can. So I design the set as well as I often do. There's a lot of lines about how beautiful the the setting is. The house is a remodeled, well, it's described as a cinder block hut with a tin roof. So it was remodeled years ago, and it's uh, talking to props and stuff like that. It's I keep using a very Michigan phrase. Like an up north house where like the toaster's not the best toaster you've ever owned, and so on. And the furniture's not so that's been fun. It also has a kitchen in it, which somehow I liked the place so much I failed to notice that before agreeing to design it and direct it. Kitchens are hard, but we fortunately there are lines about it's a shabby kitchen, so we have this menagerie of appliances and cupboards that are mismatched. But we made it. It's a kitchen. And I'm doing something a little different. So it's very much a frontally oriented stage when you go to rack. And I took the house and turned it a little. I wanted those sunsets to come blaring in diagonally across the stage and catch people's faces. And I like diagonal pathways create diagonal movement, which makes more dynamic blocking. Um, other than that, it's a simple set, except for the fact it's really complicated.
It doesn't sound simple at all. You know what when I was reading the synopsis for this, I it was interesting because I started thinking about this idea that like, you work so hard in life and you get that second house in the Caribbean and then you're like actually like at a time in your life where you're like retired and you could enjoy this house that you have in the Caribbean. And then Evelyn's like, this may be the last time I can travel here, right? Like I mean, how sad is that idea where like I can see like how the character would feel like this sadness, like depth of sadness about like, okay, I've worked for this thing. This is a beautiful thing that I have, and now this is like my last time being able to visit this place. Maybe I have to sell it. My kids are all over me. Your reliance on your children and how the tides turn and they tell you what happens in your life as you get older, or supposedly.
That is a major theme in the show. And I'm 62, and both my parents are gone. But I remember being concerned about my mom and just wanting her to have more support. And she was terrified of being put in a home. So I will clearly admit my attempts were ham-handed. Um, maybe not quite in the same way that Greg's are. But I think it's easy for 50-year-olds to not be good at it because it's a whole role reversal. So I'm very familiar with that frustration. My mother was didn't trust me for a while because she thought I was trying to put her in a home. I just wanted her to have friends that weren't 200 miles, 400, 500 miles away. Um, and Greg is similarly worried about his mom being down there without support. But then Rory's around and he's support, but Greg's not happy with what that is. So that's part of like sort of I feel like I'm in the middle of a sandwich, and that's one slice of bread. The other slice of bread is I'm 62, and turning 60 made me think that was weird. I started thinking about this might be my my last dog I get. This might be my last car I buy. And, all those things you start to think about. So that I got some insight into Evelyn and I've I've always been annoyed when people start talking to 70 and 80-year-olds in that ooh coochie coo baby voice.
Yeah.
And I'm a little afraid that the first person that does to me might get slugged.
I hope they do.
But Evelyn has to manage that too. So is that Janet, was that sort of that sandwich something you were aware of?
Yes, very
Yeah.
much so. Very
Yeah.
much so. And and Greg is carrying around um his own demons. And so he wants to do right by his mother, but he doesn't want to do right by his mother, kind of thing. So it's interesting. Scott is so wonderful at bringing out uh, the fear
Mm.
and the scared but just like moments of it, just seconds of it, and then he goes back to the way he is, and all the characters do that. All the actors are so unbelievably real and able to bring in little nuances of them out. It's wonderful. It's like going to the movies every night, going to rehearsal when I'm able to be there.
I love that. Why don't you just talk about how this show will resonate with audiences and why they should come see it before we're out of time?
I think because of the age difference, I think because of the family dynamics, everybody can relate to that to some portion of the show.
Mhm.
Even children, even kids, I think they could relate to Max's character a whole lot. And it's just um, the audience is going to lean in and want to not miss anything, and they'll want to laugh, and they'll want to go right on and cry. I mean, it has the diversity to bring all of that to the audience. So I think, did I say that right, Laura? Is there
Uh,
anything you'd like to add?
I don't know that I could add much more except for yeah, there are sad parts, but the overall tenor of it is joy.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Um
And being
and
yourself.
yeah, knowing and being yourself. Yeah,
Mhm.
which is a challenge. That talk about a universal challenge that
Yeah.
Well,
applies to everybody.
I also think it's like, watching a show like this where we were talking about like, the tides turn and your kids are, it's sort of your parents in a way. But like you were talking about, oh, will this be my last dog? Well, really, you could live to another 40 years. You have no idea.
Right, right.
Like, why think like that? Like, live life to the fullest and enjoy the life you have because you don't know when your last day will be here.
Hmm. And that would make, uh, that's a message to everybody is to don't, like you were saying, how sad for Evelyn to have worked all her life and then, yeah, don't wait to have fun until you retire. Have fun while you can.
Yeah, have fun every day, regardless
Yeah,
of your age.
yeah,
Enjoy life because you never know. You just
Yeah.
never know.
hmm.
Well, thank you both for being on the show.
Oh,
Thank
well,
you for
thank you
having
for
us.
having us.
For more on this and other programs, visit a2gov.org/CTN. Visit youtube.com/CTN Ann Arbor to see all that we have to offer. And remember to like, subscribe, and ring that notification. Thanks for watching and tune in next time to FYI.